welcome to Quick Bytes, the lunchtime live stream with your tech integration specialist, Scott Conway. Thank you for joining us today, and welcome to all those of you that are joining us live. Please note that there is a chat bar out to the right-hand side of the video. If you have questions on today's session, please feel free to type them in there, and we'll try to get to them before we end our session for today. Today's topic is going to be arranging one-on-one time with your students using a feature in Google Calendar called appointment slots. And I don't think that this is something that is often widely known or utilized. I think it's underutilized. I will say or make a disclaimer that the appointment slots feature and functionality that you're going to see today is only available in domain. So you really can't use it with someone outside the domain. So it would really be awesome if we could use appointment slots for something like scheduling parent conferences. And I've been asked this in the past, but unfortunately it just does not work. The link that you're going to provide with your slots or your available slots can only be seen and secured by someone inside the domain, so someone inside your organization. So working with other staff members works really well. Working with students works really well, but it will not work with outsiders. So unfortunately, this has to be utilized inside the organization. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to show you how to use appointment slots with Google Calendar for arranging one-on-one time with your students. And in the state of affairs that they are right now with remote learning, you may need to schedule one-on-one time with a small group of students or an individual student, really, in this case, an individual student. And in order to kind of facilitate those office hours and let the students kind of schedule an appointment with you, this appointment slots is going to let you do that easily. And after we get this set up and running, I'm going to show you how to go back once the student selects that appointment slot, how to add the Google Meet conferencing so that you can then facilitate the meeting. So let's get right into this. I am going to come over to calendars, and I will mention in the description for today is a help link that goes right to the support page for creating appointment slots. So everything that I'm going to show you today does have a help site, does have documentation. It's in the session description, so please take a look at that if you want. Now, appointment slots are initiated and facilitated in Google Calendar, and they can only be facilitated from either the week view or the day view. Now, I like to be in a 2-week view, and that's my custom view. That's how I kind of roll. I like to see 2 weeks, this week and next week. It gives me that little forecast of where things are going. But if I try to do appointment slots from here, it's just not going to work. So you've got to be either in the week or the day view. And that's where you will see that. Okay, so I'm going to go to week, and I'm going to use Saturday just because there's nothing else here on Saturday. But let's pretend that you want to provide appointment slots, 15, maybe 30-minute sessions with your students that they can then go and say, all right, because they're at home and their schedule is kind of all off too. You say, this is the time that I'm available, and then you allow your students to go in and say, well, this is the appointment slot I'm available at, or my best time frame. I want to pick this one. I want to pick this one, and you can let them kind of sign up for those appointment slots. So let's go ahead and show you how to do this. Alrighty, I am going to start by, let's say again, I'm going to use Saturday as the time frame or the date that we're going to do this, and we're going to start at 9 a.m. So you can see over here, 9 a.m. I'm going to run this across, and I'm just going to left click once. That's it. That's all I'm doing to add an event here. And you can see that I've got an add title, and I'm going to say Mr. Conway office hours. And then down below you see event out of office, or there it is, appointment slots. I'm going to go ahead and click on appointment slots, and that's going to kind of change the interface. And I'm going to say that, let's say I want I really want to meet with the students for maybe 15 to 20 minutes, but I want to give myself a little bit of a buffer of maybe 5 to 10 minutes in case we run longer. I want to give that kind of that little buffer, like I said, or maybe I just need a breather in between. So I'm going to say, let's say we go 20-minute for these meetings. I'm going to give my buffer of 10 minutes, so every 30 minutes. So I'm going to say between the hours of 9 and let's bump this up to noon. I've got a 3-hour chunk of time on this date, and the duration of each slot is going to be 30 minutes. So what I want to do at that point is just go ahead and click save. And you can see that it's going to save my event. Now I have on this event between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. Mr. Conway office hours. Now this is what it looks like in my calendar. When we double click and open this up, you then can go to the details of your event, and down below you can see this calendar's appointment page. And when you click on that, it's going to open in a new tab. And this is the link. Literally what you see at the top. You're going to copy and paste this and send it to your students, because they will see this view and they will say, oh, look, they've got appointment slots here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 appointment slots, half hour each over 3 hours. And the student will, when they're signed into their Google account and they log into this link or they click on this link, they will see exactly what you're seeing here, except for the fact that they will not see the blue events. I'm signed into my account, so please don't be nervous about this. You see all of my calendar events in here, and your students will not see this. Okay, I just want to reiterate that. It's because I'm signed in and I'm viewing it. It's my calendar laid behind the office hours. So what the student would see is their calendar, and over here they would see my office hours show up. That's the only connection they have to my calendar. Okay, so I do want to make that clear. This is only showing because I'm signed in. What the student would see is just over here, Mr. Conway office hours. And when the student finds a time slot that works, if they hover over, they see that's 9 to 9:30 or 9:30 to 10, and so on, all the way up to noon. They find the slot that works for them, they click on it, and then they'll say, okay, what is it? What? Perfect. This is me. And who? That's me, the student. I don't really need to do anything. As the student, all I need to do is click save. And I have now secured that appointment slot. So there it is. Your appointment has been saved. You can view or edit, or you can stay right here and you can see that it's right there. So this will put this in your calendar, or the student, excuse me, it'll put it in the student's calendar. And I just got my email that says the invitation has been secured. So when I come out here, I'm going to save this. And now I come back to my calendar, and I can see that in this appointment slot from 9 to noon, one slot has already been secured. And if I click on that, you can see who the organizer is and you can see who the guest is. Now, if I double click and edit the details, you can see who the who's in this one and who has secured it. So it's my calendar, and it's showing me as the one guest, which obviously I was the one person that secured that. So now what I want to do is, because we're in the status of remote learning, this appointment slot has been secured by my student. Now what I would do is I would come in after they have secured that appointment slot. Again, I come in, I see that they've secured it. I double click and open, and then I simply just click add video conferencing. And that is going to enable the Google Meet functionality from that calendar event. And once it's finished adding the Google Calendar, the Google Meet to the Google Calendar event, we're going to go ahead and save the event and close it. Now, if you want to do something other than the default notification here of 30 minutes as an email, you could go ahead and change that and add to that. This is taking a little bit longer than I expected, and as normal. So we'll give it a couple more seconds and see. I'm not too sure if something else is going on, but functionally, this is really all you need to do is open up that appointment slot, come in, add the video conferencing, click save. Let's see if we can get this to kind of kick into gear. Okay, so it was spinning there a little bit. I just went ahead and clicked save. Now as I come back in, you can see there's the join Google Meet. and there's the code. So the student would come in at that appointment slot, you would come into this appointment slot, and this Google Meet is now set up just for you and that one student who has selected that appointment slot. And if they need to, they can call in by the phone and PIN. That option is always there. So I can save and close that again. So let's see if I can show you this again. We're going to click on the link that says this calendar's appointment page. It's very important. You have to send that page, this page you're looking at, this link, to your students, because it will then show up for them with their calendar as the background, and they will see what appointment slots are available. Now, one of the appointment slots has already been taken by another student, so that's not an option. All that's left are the rest of these 5. So let's say I'm a different student now who comes in 5 minutes later, and I want to secure this appointment slot. I would simply click on it and click Save, and it's all set. And now if I close that out, you can see there's 2 appointment slots that have been secured. And if I come back over here to my calendar, you should now see the one here. And again, I would come in. Now that student has been added. I would go ahead and click Add Video Conferencing. And again, it appears to be kind of spinning. I don't know if this is an issue just today, or maybe it's something having to do with the fact that this is an appointment slot, but the workaround is just simply to click Save. And then if I go back in, there it is right there. And yep, you see it's right up there. Join with Google Meet. It's all set. Click Save and Close. So now I can hold my one-on-one session with my student. That Google Meet link is specific and unique just to us, and they have selected the appointment slots that's appropriate for them, that they have time for, that works into their daily schedule. So this is just a way to use the built-in tool called appointment slots. Again, the disclaimer is this only works for staff and students who are inside the domain. It will not work for parents and other people outside the domain. And in order to activate or add an appointment slots event, you do have to be in either the week or the day view. There is a full description with a support page in the session details for today. I don't see any questions in the chat bar, so I thank you for joining us today for the demonstration of appointment slots and adding video conferencing for one-on-one sessions with your students, and I hope you join us in the next session.